In 1987, a commercial fisherman in Louisiana bought a two-stroke Yamaha 200. According to a post on a boating forum, that engine is still pushing his boat through the Gulf 38 years later. It has survived 3 decades of salt, heat, and 14,000 hours of hard commercial use. The only major repair was a power head rebuild at 9,000 hours, done by his local mechanic in a garage with hand tools. Now compare that to what happened to a recreational boater in Florida last summer. He bought a brand new 4-stroke outboard with digital throttle, GPS integration, and smart diagnostics. 18 months later, the engine threw a fault code and went into limp mode 3 miles offshore. He limped back to the marina. The dealer told him the ECU needed replacement. The part cost $2,200. The labor costs $600. And here's the part that should make you angry. The dealer admitted the unit probably just needed a software reset, but the independent mechanic down the road couldn't perform that reset because the manufacturer locked him out of the system. This is not a malfunction. This is a business model. In this investigation, we're going to expose the engineering decisions hiding inside your outboard motor. We're going to look at the diagnostic lockout scam, the sealed ECU disaster, and the software strategy that is turning your $15,000 engine into e-waste. For decades, outboard motors were mechanical. They had carburetors, points, and manual chokes. If something broke, any competent mechanic with a wrench and a timing light could diagnose it. The knowledge was universal. The parts were interchangeable. The boat owner had choices. Then came electronic fuel injection, and with it, the computer. Modern outboards from Mercury, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Honda now run on sophisticated engine control units. These ECUs manage fuel trim, ignition timing, throttle response, and emissions. When something goes wrong, the ECU stores a fault code. To read that code, you need a diagnostic scanner. Here's the crime. The manufacturers made those scanners proprietary. Yamaha uses YDS, the Yamaha Diagnostic System. Suzuki has SDS, the Suzuki Diagnostic System. Mercury uses systems like MEDS. These are not generic OBD2 readers like you'd plug into your car at AutoZone. These are manufacturer-specific software packages that require dealer licensing, special hardware, and in some cases, factory authorization to access full functionality. A professional diagnostic system like MEDS costs between $1,500 and $2,600 for Mercury engines alone. Want to service Yamaha too? That's another system. Suzuki? Another one. For an independent marine mechanic running a small shop, the cost of covering every major brand runs into thousands of dollars before he turns a single wrench. But the cost isn't even the real barrier. Yamaha's YDS Smart app, their mobile diagnostic tool, explicitly states in its terms of use, permitted for use by Yamaha authorized dealers only. The app is on the Google Play Store. Anyone can download it. But if you're not an authorized Yamaha dealer, the terms say you're not permitted to use it. They built the tool, they put it in public, then they told independent mechanics they're not allowed to touch it. The result is predictable. Independent mechanics are being pushed out. The guy who rebuilt outboards in his shop for 30 years now has to turn away customers because he can't access the software. The boat owner has no choice but to drive an hour to the nearest authorized dealer and pay dealer rates, which now run between $120 and $150 per hour in most markets, and up to $180 at premium service centers. This is not about quality. This is about control. Your grandfather's outboard had a carburetor. When it got gunked up with ethanol residue and old fuel, he pulled it off, soaked it in cleaner, replaced the $15 rebuild kit, and bolted it back on. The knowledge was in service manuals. The parts were at the marine store. The repair was a Saturday afternoon. Your modern outboard has an ECU potted in epoxy resin. Potting is an engineering process where manufacturers encase the circuit board in a hardened compound. They claim it's for waterproofing and vibration resistance, but it has a secondary effect. It makes the unit impossible to repair. You cannot open it. You cannot replace a failed capacitor. You cannot reflow a cracked solder joint. The entire module is a sealed brick. When that brick fails, and electronics always eventually fail, you don't repair it. you replace it. A replacement ECU for a mid-range four-stroke outboard runs between $1,600 and $2,300 depending on brand and horsepower. That's the part alone. Now add the labor to install it. Now add the dealer-only programming required to marry the new ECU to your specific engine serial number. That programming step is the hidden knife. Even if you could buy the ECU yourself and bolt it in, it won't run. It has to be flashed with your engine's data using the proprietary diagnostic system we just discussed. The independent mechanic can't do it. You can't do it. Only the dealer can do it. They designed the part to fail. Then they designed the repair to require their permission. Here's something the marine industry doesn't advertise. In many cases, different horsepower versions of an outboard are the same engine, same block, same pistons, same fuel system, same physical hardware. The difference is the software. One marine tuning service put it plainly: many identical engine displacement platforms share different horsepower ratings. Some 150, 175, and 200 horsepower platforms remain identical except for the electronic control unit. The ECU is programmed to limit RPM or fuel delivery on the lower horsepower model. You're paying less money for an artificially restricted version of the same machine. This practice is confirmed across the industry. Suzuki's DF9.9B becomes the DF15 with a restrictor removal, and becomes the DF20 with an ECU swap. Mercury's 75 horsepower Optimax can be flashed to 115 horsepower by changing the ECU programming and removing an air restrictor. The hardware is identical. It's cheaper for manufacturers to produce one powerhead and create multiple SKUs through software than to engineer genuinely different engines. But here's where it becomes a repair problem. If your ECU fails on that 150 horsepower model and the dealer only has a 175 ECU in stock, he can't just flash it down. The serial number encoding prevents it. You have to wait for the factory correct part. In some cases, owners have waited months for an ECU that's functionally identical to the one sitting on the shelf because the software doesn't match. They're not selling you an engine, they're licensing you the right to run it. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act of 1975 is federal law. It says a manufacturer cannot void your warranty simply because you had the product serviced by an independent mechanic or used aftermarket parts, unless they can prove that specific service or part caused the failure. The marine industry ignores this law constantly. Boat owners across the country report dealers telling them their warranty is void because they changed their own oil, because they used a non-OEM fuel filter, because an independent shop performed the annual service instead of the dealer network. These denials are often illegal, but most boat owners don't know the law. They don't have the time or money to fight a manufacturer over a $2,000 repair, so they pay. The dealers know this. The manufacturers know this. They count on your ignorance and your exhaustion. This isn't theoretical. In 2002, a class action lawsuit was filed against Beneteau, a major boat manufacturer, for allegedly violating the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act by preventing third-party professionals from performing maintenance without voiding owners' warranties. The lawsuit claims the company's warranty practices are exactly what the federal law was designed to prevent. The law is clear. The enforcement is not. And the gap between what's legal and what's happening at the service counter is where your money disappears. This is the crime that kills independent repair entirely. Increasingly, manufacturers are restricting parts sales to authorized dealers only, not just ECUs, not just proprietary electronics, mechanical components, water pumps, thermostats, gasket kits are being funneled through dealer networks with tighter controls than ever before. The justification is always quality control or counterfeit prevention. The effect is always the same. The independent mechanic loses access to parts, and the boat owner loses access to competitive pricing. Forum discussions among independent marine mechanics confirm the pattern. Parts that were once available through marine supply stores now require dealer accounts. Lead times for non-stocked items stretch into weeks. The mechanic who could once source everything he needed for a lower unit rebuild now has to send customers to the dealer for half the job. The industry is moving toward a model where the only place you can repair your engine is the place that sold it to you. This is not quality control. This is market capture. Modern outboards receive software updates. These updates sometimes fix bugs, improve fuel maps, or address emissions calibration. They are delivered through the same proprietary diagnostic systems we discussed earlier. Here's the problem. Some updates are mandatory for warranty coverage. If you miss a software recall or a required calibration update and you later have a failure that the manufacturer claims the update would have prevented, they can deny your warranty claim. But you can't perform the update yourself. You have to bring the boat to the dealer. You have to pay the shop rate, $120 to $150 per hour or more, for a technician to plug in a laptop and click a button. They have engineered a system where you are required to pay them to maintain your own warranty, and if you don't, they use your absence as justification to deny coverage. This is what the right to repair movement is fighting. John Deere did it with tractors, Apple did it with phones, and the marine industry is doing it with your outboard. Quietly, with less public attention, but with the same playbook. The marine industry is not going to fix this voluntarily. They will fix it when they are forced to, by legislation, by lawsuits, or by customers who refuse to accept the terms. In the meantime, here's what smart buyers are doing. First, they're keeping old engines running. A 1990s two-stroke with a fresh powerhead rebuild is mechanically simpler, infinitely more repairable, and immune to software hostage tactics. Yes, it burns more fuel. Yes, it's louder, but you own it. Actually own it. Second, they're buying from brands with better independent support. Some manufacturers have looser parts distribution than others. Some have more robust aftermarket ecosystems. Do your research before you buy. Third, they're supporting the right to repair movement. State-level legislation is advancing in multiple states. The FTC has issued policy statements affirming Magnuson-Moss protections. The fight is happening, but it needs boat owners to show up. Fourth, they're documenting everything. If a dealer tells you your warranty is void because of independent service, get it in writing. That documentation is evidence if you later need to file a complaint with the FTC or pursue a warranty claim in small claims court. The manufacturers are betting that you don't know your rights, that you don't have the energy to fight, and that you'll just accept whatever they tell you. Prove them wrong. The outboard motor used to be a tool you owned. You could understand it, maintain it, and repair it. You had choices about who worked on it and what parts went into it. The modern outboard is becoming a subscription. You're paying $15,000 or $25,000 for the hardware, but the manufacturer retains control of the software, the diagnostics, the parts pipeline, and the repair ecosystem. They're not selling you an engine. They're selling you permission to use their product for as long as they decide to support it. This is not innovation. This is extraction. Stop accepting it.